Breaking tonight, the countdown is on to the Indiana primary, the one that could change everything. This while Washington, D.C. celebrates President Obama's very last White House Correspondents' Dinner. Hello and welcome to the second hour of Justice. I'm Judge Jeanine Pirro. Thanks for being with us. You're looking live at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where shortly the president will take the podium. We're going to take you there live as soon as the headliners hit the stage. But first, to the race for the GOP nomination and my opening statement. Finally, someone wants to take care of you and me. Someone who thinks it's important to put our priorities in order. Now, everyone wants to moan and complain about Donald Trump when he says he wants to make America first. They say it's racist, it's not fair, it's unashamedly about U.S. doing less, and it's just wrong. Take a look at these headlines the day after his speech. What's wrong with America first? To me, America first is a breath of fresh air and exactly what this country needs. Don't these people live here? Do they prefer Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton's worldview, where the first thing you do as president is go to Cairo, have the White House load the place with members of the Muslim Brotherhood, and give an apologist speech? You like that better? Go live there. And what's wrong with saying we should do less nation building? Do any of you like sending your children to war in countries to impose our way of life on them when they don't want our way of life, when they resent it, and when they want to kill us for it? Take a listen.
I will not hesitate to deploy military force when there is no alternative. But if America fights, it must only fight to win.
Donald Trump says we'll never send troops into battle unless it's absolutely necessary and unless there's a plan for victory. Okay, what's the beef there? He's saying I'm not going to allow a generation to die in a foreign land, leave their blood in the desert sand, or come back with fewer limbs than when they left, with no plan for victory and no end in sight. So, okay, you critics, you prefer Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, mumbo jumbo? We don't really have a strategy. We're going to contain them. We're going to roll them back. We're going to degrade them. We're going to dismantle them. As if ISIS is a manageable problem. Clearly, a feckless foreign policy, feckless at both ends. And to top it off, they're like spectators who simply watch our American heroes die as they wait to see a doctor, watch as 22 of those veterans commit suicide when they come back every day, and watch as those veterans live homeless on the streets with PTSD when they come home. And then you bozos make believe you had no idea there was a problem with the VA? You know, Trump talks about a desire to live peacefully and in friendship with Russia and China. Take a listen.
Some say the Russians won't be reasonable. I intend to find out. If we can't make a deal under my administration, a deal that's great, not good, great for America, but also good for Russia, then we will quickly walk from the table. It's as simple as that. We're going to find out.
Makes sense to me. Russia is fighting a common enemy, ISIS. In fact, they reached out to us twice about the Boston bombers, which we ignored to our detriment. So the anti-Trump critics, like the Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton Russian reset, eliminating the missile defense system that ultimately put the Czech Republic and Ukraine in jeopardy, you like that? Or might you be of the ilk that prefers working out a deal with Iran and the Ayatollah, whose dream is to destroy Israel and who believes the world would be a better place without America? Trump says you need to be able to walk away from the negotiation table. That's a sign of strength. But the bozos prefer not just staying at the table, but eating at the table and sleeping on that Geneva table, begging and pleading until Iran gets $100 billion and a path to a nuclear weapon. Now, Trump says we must be unpredictable to catch our enemies off guard. What's wrong with that? Do you prefer a Post-it note to the Taliban saying we're leaving earlier than we said and drawing down our troops, putting American troops in extreme danger? Trump's America First is not isolationist. Should we go with Hillary Clinton's intervention, the one that overthrew Gaddafi in Libya, teeing up the murder of an American ambassador and 3 other Americans? Stop telling us who to believe, what to believe, and what's best for us. We're voting in record numbers for the man who was the biggest vote getter in American primary history. Since you screwed it up, you can't figure it out, and you've made a laughingstock of this great nation, just shut up and go away. We'll take it from here. And that's my open. Tell me what you think on my Facebook page or Twitter, hashtag Judge Jeanine. With me now is New Jersey State Director for the Ted Cruz campaign, Steve Lonigan. All right, good evening, Steve.
Judge, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's good to have you. All right, Steve, what is the state of the Cruz campaign? What are they doing in Indiana?
Well,
are they going to win it? What's going on there?
Yeah, we are, Judge, but I'd like to respond to your opening statement. You know, unpredictability is a presidential candidate who thinks it's okay to give nuclear weapons to Saudi Arabia, Japan, Korea, and then turns around, by the way, on Greta Van Susten's show just the other night and says, well, we have to give aid to our enemies in Pakistan because they have nuclear weapons. That's unpredictability. If you want a candidate...
Whoa. We already give aid to Pakistan.
Right.
None of this is new stuff.
So why not stop that aid?
Well, is Ted Cruz going to do that?
I would like to say yes. I say Ted Cruz will cut state aid to our enemies. But let's talk about leadership.
Why don't you answer my question?
Go ahead.
What's going on in Indiana?
Ted Cruz is doing a phenomenal job. In the last 48 hours, he's got the endorsement of Governor Mike Pence. He knows how to put America first. Governors work very hard to do that every day in their home states. And also the endorsement of former Governor and Senator Pete Wilson of California, who, by the way, Judge, I would like to remind you, he put America first in 1994 when he masterminded Proposition 187, which banned illegal aliens from getting welfare payments from the American government. It was a liberal judge who overturned that.
I really don't want to talk about the California governor. What I want to talk about, the fact, is Mike Pence, the Indiana governor.
Right.
Now, that was the most lukewarm, wishy-washy endorsement I've ever heard. How did Ted Cruz feel about that, where he says, you know, I like Donald Trump, but I'm probably going to vote for Cruz? I mean, it was like this apologetic, mealy-mouthed non-endorsement.
Well, look, the most important endorsement is a vote, and the governor is going to be up for re-election, and some of his people are going to be supporting Donald Trump. Why should he turn them against him? He handled that very, very diplomatically.
So why do it at all? Why come across as wishy-washy? We want a leader.
He made it very, very clear in his radio interview, by the way, and he's been out campaigning for the senator. So I think his endorsement is very powerful, and he did quite a good job of doing it. Look, we're going in.
Oh, he did not. You know it. All right, come on,
all right.
Steve.
So let
me ask you this.
Yes.
What's the deal with that messed up Cruz-Kasich alliance, where Cruz actually says Kasich made the decision to withdraw from Indiana, and then Kasich comes out and says, what? I never told Indiana voters not to vote for me. They should vote for me.
Well, not quite. That's not quite
no,
he said.
Yeah,
that wasn't the exact. You know what he said.
I know what he said. I just read it.
It was the art of the deal. I mean, Ted Cruz has succeeded in the art of the deal.
So you're adopting Donald Trump's art of the deal?
Yeah, and he's done a great job, because if you look at this, we just came off of the northeastern states, and everybody knew Donald Trump was going to win the northeastern states. Our campaign knew it. And we knew that the media would say now it's inevitably the nomination of Donald Trump. But now we go into Ted Cruz territory and Ted Cruz month. Indiana, Washington State, Nebraska,
Let me ask you
even
this.
Oregon, and, well, West Virginia will go for Trump.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because we don't have a lot of time. I love having you on. But here's the question. that Cruz-Kasich alliance, it backfired. So then Ted, I think, decides he's going to bring in Carly, who I've been very complimentary of. Smart lady.
Yeah.
But the woman
Brilliant
lost
move.
in California. She's known as the outsourcing queen in a state where, like Indiana, that's a manufacturing state where they're out of jobs.
Judge, you didn't want to talk about California. Let's go back to Indiana, because it's a brilliant move for Indiana voters. And we can talk about this Wednesday, because when Ted Cruz wins Indiana and goes into Ted Cruz month, the month of May, in a couple of weeks, the president's going to have a whole different tune, a whole different story about where this nomination is going and how competitive the upcoming convention will be.
And you think it was a smart move to nominate Carly as VP now, even though he doesn't have
it was a
endorsement,
bold move. It solidifies the female base. It was a very bold move. She's very, very eloquent. It showed true leadership, and it basically emphasizes the fact that Donald Trump is alienating the female vote.
Okay. Steve Lonigan, good to have you on tonight. Thanks for being with us. So can Donald Trump virtually lock up the nomination with a big win on Tuesday? Indiana legend Bobby Knight is with me next. Justice coming right back.